Hello everyone, my name is Marijn. I am the product manager for Mendeley site. And I'm going to present to you today alongside my colleague Iri. If you want to do an intro.
Yeah, so hi everyone, I'm Iri, I'm the product manager for Mendeley Reference Manager. And yeah, today will be essentially a getting started with Mendeley. So we'll be covering a couple of products under the suite, showing you demonstrations of each one, and giving you a sneak peek of what's to come soon.
Sorry, I'm just going to share my screen again now. So I'm having some issues with that. Okay, hopefully you can see that. Okay, great.
Yep. Cool, so the first stage here will just be going through Mendeley Reference Manager. So this is the new reference management tool from Mendeley. And I'll be walking you through the core features and showcasing some recent updates that we've carried out. And as mentioned, we'll have a Q&A at the end of the demo to ask any questions and hopefully give you some answers to forums too. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. Okay, just move these Zoom things out of the way. Cool. So on the left-hand side here is the new reference manager on desktop. And on the right is again the new reference manager, but on the web. As some of you may notice, these are identical. And that's one of the unique things to reference managers in general, and especially to the upgrade from the old Mendeley Desktop. For this demo, I'm going to be using the web version. But if you're ever using this product, feel free to switch between the two. They work and perform identically. Okay. Cool. So this is what it looks like when you first download or visit Mendeley Reference Manager. This is the current empty state of the library. We don't have any references. So the first thing you would want to do is start importing your research materials, and you can do that in several ways. I'm going to just walk you through a few of those. The first one and the most popular method is dragging and dropping. So I have a PDF here on the desktop. I drag it across the section here, let go of the mouse click, and that will begin importing the reference, as you can see there. If you have more than one PDF, let's say a library file type like BibTeX, XML, or RIS, you can go to Add New, Import Library, and then select the extension version here. So for this example is BibTeX. I'll go ahead and find it here. So here's one I created earlier. And that then also import, and because this is a library file, this contains more than one reference. So this is a really nice way to move away from different reference managers or sharing references between one another and your colleagues. If you don't have the reference type, but you want to manually enter a reference, you can do so through the manual entry where this form displays. Now you can go ahead and manually enter the authors, the journal, the year, and so on. If you happen to have the DOI, so let me just quickly copy one from here. You can paste that DOI into this top field, and it will pre-populate all the metadata for you, so you won't have to manually type all that out. So I can go ahead and click Add Entry, and that goes and adds it to the library. So every method we've used so far essentially scrapes the PDF for any identifiers like DOIs and returns the most up-to-date and accurate metadata for that particular file. There are also several other methods you can do to import your research materials. So we can go to Mendeley Search. So you can access this through mendeley.com/search. And from here, you can essentially search for different articles. So as an example, we've got bioenergy here. I'll click on that. And that returns over 20,000 results of different references related to bioenergy. And from here, we can filter that down by year, document type, journal, and so on. When we've found a reference that we're interested in, we can just simply click the Add to Library button. So we've got the future of bioenergy here. I'll go ahead and click Add to Library. And if we switch back to the reference manager, you can see the future of bioenergy right there, added to your library quickly and efficiently. And you can do that with any reference that you find on Mendeley Search. Now, outside of Mendeley, we also have the web importer. This is an extension on the browser. So for example, we're here on PubMed, which is a non-Elsevier related website. We've searched for astrophysics. We have a bunch of results here. What we can do is open the web importer, which I'll do by clicking the icon here in the top right. And what this is essentially doing now is scraping the website for any metadata entries, and eventually it will return a list of all those references and the PDF if there's a PDF available. From here, you can select all of them, or you can select the ones that you're particularly interested in. You can also choose where in the reference manager it's stored. So for this example, I'll click the long entanglement of water and astrophysics and then hit add. And then once that's added to our library, we can go back to the reference manager. And as you see, the entry is there. And it's also brought the PDF across as the PDF was available when we imported it through the web importer. So that essentially covers the different methods of importing and starting to populate your library. As you can see, all of this was done with RealTime Sync, which is this icon here on the top right. So every time you carry out an action, the RealTime Sync kicks in and things are updated in real time. So this is non-dependent on whether you're using it across multiple different devices. You could be on your work laptop, and you could have a desktop PC elsewhere. As soon as you log in and as soon as you carry out any action, the RealTime Sync will kick in and it will update and reflect across all those different platforms. Okay, so now we have several references. We can go ahead and start organizing them just so that it's a little easier to structure the library to fit our needs, essentially. So first of all, we have what we call the smart collections. All references is pretty self-explanatory. It's a collection of essentially all of your references in your library. You then have recently added, which will filter all your references based on the date that it was added. So this is in the last 30 days. So any of your references you've added in the last 30 days will show up in this smart collection. We then have recently read. You can see it's empty because we haven't opened any of the references. So what this smart collection does is populate it based on what references you've opened and read. You have favorites, and favorites can be populated by clicking on the star icon. So I'll just do a couple here as an example, like so. You have my publications. So my publications populated by claiming a Scopus profile. So if we click on claim Scopus profile, if you're a published author, you can look yourself up through Scopus. You can find that profile and link it to your account. So that any publications that you have published through Scopus will be populated in the My Publications Smart Collection. And then lastly, we have trash. And trash is essentially things you delete. So we can go ahead and select a few of these. We can delete them through the action panel at the bottom here, or we can right click on a reference and select delete reference and do it that way. At any point, if you regret your decision of deleting the reference, you can restore by again clicking on the reference and hitting restore, or delete that permanently, which removes it from your library forever. On the topic of organizing, we then also have personal collections, which displays just beneath the smart collections. And these ones are user generated. So when you first start, you'll have an input field here that says new collection. You can click into that field and just type in any collection name. So I'm just going for Research for Life here as an example, hit enter, and it's now created a new collection. You can populate that collection by dragging the references in your all references to that specific location. So drag a few in here. Or you can select multiple references and use the bulk action panel by checking the box of the references you want to move across, hitting organize, hitting add to collection, and then selecting that collection. So as you can see now, there's several references in here. If we want to further break this down, we can right click on collections, and we've got the option to rename the collection, delete it altogether, or create a new collection. So I'm going to go ahead and click a new collection, And essentially this allows you to create a subcollection of that parent. So Research for Life is a parent collection, and subcollection is essentially a child of that one. And what we can do is populate that subcollection again by dragging things in. So now we've got references here in the subcollection, just 3 that we've dragged. And then Research for Life has all of those, including the 3 in the child collection. If at any point we feel subcollection deserves to be at the main line here, we can click on subcollection, drag it to the header, and that will then convert it into a top level collection. Same is true if you want to do the opposite. So if Research for Life is better suited as a subcollection, we can click on that, hold down the click, drag and hover over subcollection, and then let go. And now Research for Life is a subcollection of subcollection. We probably would want to rename subcollection as something else. But yeah, that is your personal collections and how you can create, populate, and manage personal collections. So now that we've populated our library, we've organized it somewhat, created collections to structure it, I'm going to move on to how you can better control the editing of each reference. So an example, we've got a list of references here. We can click on this top one and it opens what we call the info panel. At any point here, you can see that this reference in particular is unspecified. If we know that this is actually a report, we can switch it to report or to any other reference type that we currently support. So I'll go ahead and click report. That's now a report and gives you different options depending on the reference type. So as you can see here, there's no abstract for a report. However, if we were to switch it to a journal article, we now have the field for an abstract, which we can click into and edit as we choose. We can also edit all the publication details for that specific reference as well. Some of you may have also spotted tags. So this is also another way of organizing your references is by tags. So we can click here and we can add a tag name. So need review, for example. Tags are still in its infancy, and we hope to do a lot more work around tags. For now, the way you can utilize them is you can search for a tag and it'll appear. We hope to add it to our filters very soon, which we'll touch on a little bit later. Okay, so that is importing and organizing and editing your references. So now you've done most of the foundational stuff to get up and running. You're wanting to go ahead and read the references. So I'm going to double click on this top reference that has a PDF attached. And you can see there's a big image here and there's a bunch of text. What we could do within the reader is what you would expect to do in most PDF readers. So we've got zooming in, zooming out. So we'll zoom out a little bit here. Do the opposite, you can zoom in. You can fit the PDF to width or height. So fit to height will essentially do that. And fit to width would do that. If you have a specific PDF that is easier to read in a different landscape mode, you can rotate the individual pages. Let me just zoom out a little bit more so it's clearer. So for example, we can go to page 2 here and we can rotate that one specifically. Let me rotate that back. There we go. If you're looking for something in particular in the PDF, you can do so by using the search function. So that will highlight all the occurrences of the word that you've searched. So we've got an example here, always in pink. But the real power of the reader is annotations. So what we can do is highlight text in the PDF and create highlights. Once we've created a highlight, let me just zoom in a little bit here so it's clearer. Once we've created a highlight, we can click on it and we can change the color. This is really useful if you use color for theming your thoughts. It makes annotating research materials a lot easier. So we can change it to red, purple, and so on. We also have the ability to create sticky notes. So you can right click on a specific part of the PDF and you'll see the option sticky note. This looks interesting. Oh, and hit enter. Similar to highlights, you can also change the color of your sticky notes. So it could be blue, for example. Again, it really helps with the theming. Okay, so that's annotations within a PDF. There's also an option to highlight as a shape. So we've got highlight rectangle. So in this particular PDF, you may want to, just highlight this image. For example, if there were charts, you could highlight the charts as well, and then kind of add a sticky note beside them. Just another way, just another tool within the reader that you can kind of really annotate the PDF. Okay. So now we go open the right-hand side panel again. And next to the info tab, which we've already covered, you have an annotations tab. And essentially what this does is list out all the annotation, all the sticky notes for now. We're hoping to expand it to highlight soon. But it shows you all the annotations that you have on that particular PDF, just to kind of give you a better clarity on what you've already written out. You also have what we call general notes. In here, you can essentially write out a summary or a note for this specific reference. Again, just a way to highlight your thoughts and keep them stored in a place and summarize what you're reading. And then just besides the annotations, we have the notebook. Now, this is a brand new feature. So this is what you'll see to begin with. To create a new page in your notebook, you click the new page button in the bottom left, and you can just write out a title, for example, page, and you can write out any old context in here, writing out some context. And then any annotation you have in a PDF, you can click on. So for example, highlights, and you can add that to your page. So like that. And now the real power of the notebook is you can do this across several different PDFs. So this note isn't associated to just this reference. So we can close this and we can go around, open new PDFs and add more annotations and really kind of pull out and document all your thoughts in one page. And if at any point you want to kind of click back and find what this quote was about, you can click this and it'll open up the PDF that it relates to. So you can quickly jump back and forwards to your thoughts, and it really helps kind of reduce quotation error, especially. Okay. So that is the reader and the notebook, and covered the annotations there. So the last piece here I want to cover is collaboration. So we've recently expanded our offering by introducing group management. So what essentially this allows is owners of a group to maintain their group members and a lot more. So I'm going to walk you through all of that now. So just beneath the collections heading, we have private groups. You can create a new group by, again, clicking into the new group field. Hit enter. And just like that, you've now created a group that you can invite others to and start collaborating with. So once you've created your group, you can right click on it. You have the similar sort of options to collections. You can rename the group and you can delete the group if you're the owner. I'm going to run you through managing group. So once you've clicked manage group, it'll open up to the specific view. And from here, you'll be able to see all the members that are in this particular group and a little bit of detail around that. So as you can see, I'm the only member in the group because I've just created it. So what we can do is click invite members, which takes you to a new page within group management, where you can then start filling out different email addresses. Sorry, my cursor's playing up. Cool. And we can go ahead and just send that invite out. And as you can see, that'll come up as a pending invite. And if you have the correct permissions within the group, you can resend that or cancel that invitation. So once you've started sending out invitations and you've got more members in the group, what it will essentially look like, well, actually, before I go to that, other than just sending out your own personal invitations, you can also manage invitations that you've been sent through the main screen. So what I've done there is gone to the main page, and you can access that through the manage group or by clicking on the drop down and going to preferences. So as you can see here, we have a pending invites header, and just beneath that you see I've been invited to Mendeley PDMs, and you can accept and decline the invitation from here. So I'll just go ahead and accept that, and that now appears in my list of groups. So going to a group that I created earlier, we have myself and Marijn both in the group. So now that we have several members, you can carry out a few more actions in the group management. So for example, I can click on this 3-dot menu, and from here I can promote Marijn to an admin. Or if I wanted to, I could transfer the ownership of the group to him altogether, or remove him from the group entirely. And that's how you carry out invitations, manage your invitations, and manage the list of members. If at any point you want more details on how to use group management and the permissions around the different ranks within a group, just click on the Learn More About Groups link at the top of the thing, and you'll be taken to a help guide that shows you how to populate the group, and also a table around all the permissions, so what an owner, an admin, and a member can and can't do within the group. Okay, so going to the group that I created earlier, we've got a bunch of references here. I can see that the top one's been flagged. In this example, it's been flagged for collaboration. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. So I've got the PDF open, and from here, I've just noticed that a sticky note's popped up in real time. So I can click that, and I noticed that it's from Marijn, stating that this part of the abstract's interesting, and we should consider this for a proposal. So what you're seeing there are annotations being created in real time within that PDF with Marijn, who's one of the colleagues in that specific group. So this is a really powerful combination of collaboration and the real-time sync with annotations behind it all. There you go, just like magic, another highlight has appeared. So yeah, so that's the latest updates for Mendeley Reference Manager, and just a quick guide on how to get started using the product. I'm going to now hand you over to Marijn, who's going to show you about Mendeley Cite.
Thanks, Iri. Great. I'm going to now show you, as mentioned, Mendeley Cite, which is our citation tool that works alongside Mendeley Reference Manager. So as you can see here, I've got Mendeley Cite open currently. And you might notice that I've actually got this open on the web. So something that's really great with Mendeley Cite, the new citation tool from Mendeley, is that we actually support more versions, especially Word Online. So if you are using Word Online, you can also now use Mendeley Cite, which is great. So I'm just going to show you how to use this tool quickly. As you can see, I've got a document open here, and Mendeley Cite is open on the right-hand side. Now what you can see is my library open in the references panel. So you can see here, I'm opening all my references, and the reference that Iri and I were talking about before, that you could see that we were collaborating on, is here at the top. Now what I'm going to do is I've got my document ready, and I want to start citing this reference. So all I need to do is select my reference here, and selecting the document where I want this reference to appear, and I can press Insert Citation. Now what this will do is it will insert the citation directly into the document, and there you go. You'll notice that the reference is already formatted for you, which is obviously very useful. And you can also then click into an existing reference. So what's happened here is you can see we're actually in an edit mode, and I can see the reference that I've selected in here. I can actually click into that reference. Let's say I want to specify a page number for this reference. So I've got the value box here, and select page, and I can put in page number 6. If I press done and then save changes, you'll see that these changes are then reciprocated in the document itself. I'll show you adding another reference here, just further down. I'll insert these two. As you can see, I've selected 2. I'll insert these, and they appear together in this document here. Now, let's say, for example, I finished writing my document. I'm ready to insert my bibliography at the end of the document. To do that, I just need to press More, Insert Bibliography, and press Continue. And there you go, it's inserted, pre-formatted for me. So all this formatting is done for you, super quick, super simple to use. We don't want to make it too complex, so we kept it really simple. Let's say, for example, I've submitted my document and I've received some feedback on it, and I need to change the reference I've used in the second citation here. So all I need to do is click into it, remove one of the references from it, and let's say I want to add this one instead. I select that one, press Save Changes. Now what I want you to do is just watch how the document changes alongside the new references. So the bibliography will automatically update. So I press Save Changes, and the citations have changed and bibliography is updated. What I'll also show you now is the changing of citation styles. So as we know, I've got my references here, but let's say I've submitted my journal to a journal and they've said they've rejected me and I actually want to submit it to a different journal. I can click on citation style. You can see here I'm using a custom version of APA 7th, which was my name alongside it. Let's say I want to submit this to Nature. So all I need to do is click Nature here, update citation style, and you can see the citation style is updated for you. So this is super quick, super easy. And I can also select another style. So if I want to search for a different one, let's say Vancouver, search for Vancouver and then select Vancouver from this list. And there we go, it's updated as well. What's also really great here is that I can do collaboration alongside my colleagues. So as you can see, here he's actually writing in this document with me and he's inserting images. So we're collaborating on a document in real time. And this is, again, we really want to make that collaboration piece really strong. So Iri can actually go into this document and then edit references, and we can work together on these documents, which is really powerful. I also want to show you one more thing. Recently, we've been working on a project to release a big feature for us. I've got Mendeley site open here on the Word desktop as well. So I've actually got Word desktop open. Here is a document which contains references made with Mendeley Desktop and the Mendeley Desktop citation plugin. So this is our previous products, Mendeley Desktop and Mendeley Reference Manager, both reference managers, but Mendeley Reference Manager is the new version. And we've also built Mendeley site to accompany that. Now, what that means is references from Mendeley Desktop will need to be converted to work with Mendeley site. Now, I'm going to show you the process of that working. So these references are from Mendeley Desktop. As you can see, they're highlighted in gray. So when I open Mendeley site, what happens is the document will, Mendeley site will recognize that within the document, there are citations that are from Mendeley Desktop. They don't work with Mendeley site, so we'll need to quickly convert them. And what I'll do is I'll run you through that process now. So I click onto Mendeley site in the references panel. This will load my account and it'll sign me in. And whilst this is happening, I'll talk to you about what happens. Okay, it's done it already. So we can see here, I've got to update this document. So it's just giving me a message to say, hey, these references are made with Mendeley Desktop, we'll need to convert them. If you want some more help on why we need to do that, you can click here for a support guide as well. I'm going to press continue. It's going to warn me to ask me to say, make a copy of the document. We're very confident that your document will be fine during this conversion process, but we don't want to take any risks. So we always recommend you to just make a copy of your document just in case. I've made a copy of this document, so I'm just going to click I've made a copy. It will then tell me that it's found the citation style, which is APA 7 style. Now I want to change to Nature, let's say, so I can actually just choose Nature from this list here and use this citation style. Now what's going to happen is it's going to give me a message to say this document is now ready to be converted, but please make sure you've got track changes turned off. And we say that because track changes then will block the update from completing. So we just need to make sure track changes is off. We can see that in review. I've actually got it turned off, so that's fine. So I click the track changes is turned off button, and then I click to update document. Now what will happen is it will use the citations and it's converted them, and it will eventually change the bibliography as well. And there we go. The document that was made with Mendeley Desktop can now be used in Mendeley site. It's super fast, super easy to use. Yeah, and I can now click into these citations and should be able to add and change them as I wish. There we go. So yeah, ready to change, ready to edit. There we go. So that's it from Mendeley site. There is not much to show you. If you wish to use Mendeley site and you have any feedback that you want to give us, then I'd be happy to, for you, if you could just give some feedback via the menu here. You see 3 dots menu. You can click this give feedback link. This feedback goes directly to me. I check this every morning. So if you have any ideas or feedback around Mendeley site, if you're using it, please feel free to do so. So that's it for the Mendeley site demo. I'm now going to take you back to the presentation. There we go. So I will now give you a little introduction into what's coming soon for Mendeley site. So Mendeley site, currently, we're working very hard on introducing the collections feature. Collections, as you saw before, are folders that you can make within your library. Currently, you don't have access to them in Mendeley site, unfortunately, but we are very, very close to implementing this feature and releasing it to our actual products in real life. So we're really excited for that. You can actually see what that will look like here in this image below. So you can click the all references section and this will load up your list of collections and smart collections that you can see there as well, and also groups at the bottom. We'll be doing smart collections and groups a bit later, but the collections area will be available very soon. This means you can then select and filter by your specific collection names. As you can see here, oscillating waves are selected, and then we'll see the references related to that collection. I'll now move on to what's coming soon for Mendeley Reference Manager. Iri, to take over.
Yep. Also, for other features and improvements coming next, we'll be introducing filter by tags. So currently in Mendeley Reference Manager, you can filter by authors, which is great when you're trying to break down your library results to find the reference you're after. So we'll be expanding that, as you can see in the screenshot to the left there. So you'll be able to apply both author and tag filters together, really helping you refine your results. And the second big feature will be copy as formatted citation. So you'll essentially be able to right-click on any reference in your library, click the copy formatted citation option, and what that will do is copy that reference in a citation format to your clipboard. That means you can then paste it into emails, Word documents, anywhere, and it will paste the reference in a citation format, making it super simple to just share references between colleagues and friends. So alongside these two big features, we'll also be making a push on improving the performance and stability of the product. And yeah, with our regular releases, so we aim to update every 2 weeks, you'll be seeing a lot of these big features coming quite often. So
Thanks for that, Iri. Yeah, we'd like to open up to questions and answers now.
Hi, this is Domitiana again. Just thank you so much for this presentation. And also thank you to everyone who joined. We are 300 participants, which is the highest number we ever had. So that's really, really cool. And indeed, thank you so much to everyone. I was just collecting a few questions from the chat while you guys were speaking. So I just want to, first of all, tell to everyone, if you look at the chat, we have pasted there a lot of links to our webinars page on the website, which is a page where you can find the recordings for this webinar. So you can go there after this, and maybe I think by tomorrow we're gonna get it there. If I might, I have a question here that says Microsoft Word 2019 is not compatible with Mendeley Cite add-on. Is there any solution for this?
Mendeley Cite is compatible with Word 2019. We use it ourselves internally. What might be the case here is that there is something specific to your Word 2019 settings, which has blocked the usage of add-ons. It would be interesting and useful to understand what is happening that makes you that makes it look like it's not working, not compatible. If you can understand what the message, or if you get an error message, what that message is, then I'll be able to maybe help you with getting that resolved. But it does work with Word 2019 for sure.
Thank you. I just scrolling the chat. I see, and again, Lenny, please feel free to jump in if I forget some of the questions in the chat. I have someone who is asking, can I use Mendeley without internet connection? So does it work offline, basically?
Yep, so both the web version and the desktop version work offline. You initially have to be online to get it all set up. On the web version, any PDF that you've previously opened will get saved to what we call cache. That means the next time you're offline, you'll be able to read that PDF. On the desktop version, you can right-click on all references or right-click on a specific collection and make it available whilst offline. So what it essentially does is save all the documents to your local storage. So the next time you're offline or your connection drops, you'll be able to continue reading. You'll also be able to continue creating collections and pretty much every other feature within the product.
Oh, we're getting a lot of questions now. Maybe I'll read them quickly. How much it costs for Mendeley Research Database? Can I import EndNote library? Maybe you want to talk about that. Can I use Mendeley to cite newspaper articles or images? Okay, so they're really coming in quickly now, so you can pick whichever one you want to do.
Okay, for the EndNote one, yes. If you're currently using EndNote, you can export your library as XML. You can then go into the Mendeley Reference Manager and import that XML file, similar to the example I showed with the BibTeX. That's all your references, and you'll be able to use Mendeley Reference Manager from there on. In terms of cost, it's free to use Mendeley. You get 2 GB worth of storage in your personal collection library, sorry, and then you can expand that with premium offerings and so on.
Okay, our colleague Mercy, who does training in Mendeley, noted she investigated the issue of Mendeley cite button not being available in some versions of Word and realized that some instances you need to download the plugin. So that's some practical information from her. It's almost overwhelming, and I knew this would happen. We have quite a number of questions, so maybe you can pick whichever ones you want to briefly answer. Citing newspaper articles, images might be a good one.
Yeah, so images currently aren't supported in the Mendeley Reference Manager. We're always looking to expand the reference types that we support. So when you trial out the product, in the top right, there on the account drop down, you'll see a give feedback option. If there are any specific types that you're after, if you click on that give feedback, it will take you to essentially a feedback portal where you can send across your comments. It can be about reference types, or it can be about the existing features or new features that you're after. And myself and Marijn read through all of that feedback every morning, and we prioritize updates based on the feedback as well. But yeah, currently those 2 types, images that aren't supported.
There are 2 quick questions about trial access, but I think you made it clear that it's available, and the open version has been available for a long time. Will it cost later? And I don't think that's your business model. So you can add to that.
Yeah.
Yes,
there's also a question that
basic version is available for free download. Storage up to 2 GB. Okay.
Yeah. I just wanted to capture one of those questions there around Mendeley Desktop. So someone asked, with the introduction of Mendeley Reference Manager, does it mean the end of Mendeley Desktop? And I just want to confirm that that's not the case. Mendeley Desktop will eventually be retired, but at least for this year, we'll be supporting it. There won't be any new updates to Mendeley Desktop as we focus on the new Mendeley Reference Manager, but we are well aware that there are some features Mendeley Desktop offers that we don't yet support on the new product. Hence why the old product will continue to be around for at least this year, whilst we continue to build out the new Mendeley Reference Manager.
There's a good question about different from APA Chicago, and like they use CINAT reference style, which is different from APA. How how could it be incorporated into the Mendeley system? I guess this is one that you do not support, so that would be difficult. Mendeley Reference Style.
Marijn?
Yeah, I'm not sure on the specific style itself, but we support the reference styles that are available via the Citation Style open source community.
Yeah, I mean, you have quite a number,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Someone wants to know it's about citing directly from Google Scholar. That's pretty okay.
So if you use the web importer that I showed the example in PubMed, you can visit Google Scholar, carry out your searches. You can then open web importer. Let me just quickly share my screen. I'll show you it in action.
That'd be great.
Cool. So this is Google Scholar. I've searched for COVID-19. It pulls up a bunch of references. And then on the right side, we've got the web importer open. And that scraped every one of these entries. And then again, you can just select the ones you're after, add them to your library by hitting add. These would then be added to your Mendeley Reference Manager library, where they're available here and also available in Mendeley Cite. So you'll then be able to use a citation add-on to cite against Google Scholar, essentially.
Okay. Oh, here's a unique question. Does Mendeley take into account the copyright issues? I'm not exactly sure what that means.
Yeah, I'm not sure which specific copyright issues we're referring to.
Yeah. Yep. I see a couple of my colleagues are adding, that use this regularly, are adding hints or suggestions. So I think we're pretty much caught up to date. Are there any more unique questions? Yes.
Lenny, I just see a question about, maybe this is very broad, but what are the key differences between Mendeley, Zotero, EndNote, and similar reference managements?
Okay, I can touch on EndNote there. So EndNote has been around quite longer than our new Mendeley Reference Manager. So what you'll see is that EndNote has some features that we're yet to implement. However, unlike EndNote, we release new updates every 2 weeks. So we're continuously improving the products based on the feedback that we receive from users like yourselves. And Mendeley Reference Manager also has an identical desktop and web version, which you won't find in EndNote. So what that essentially means is you can switch between the two platforms as and when you require, and there's no additional learning curve. And then when that's then bundled up with a real-time sync, it ensures everything's updated and you can pretty much decide where and how you work. Another big benefit to Mendeley is that we're supporting a lot more versions of Word when it comes to citing, unlike EndNote. So across both of our reference managers and the citation add-on, the user experience is a lot friendlier. So there's a lot less time having to learn how to use the product and more time actually being productive.
It's also worth
There's
adding
a question about shifting from Zotero to Mendeley, and maybe somebody who's in the chat could answer that too if they've done that. But I don't think that's pretty routine now, isn't it?
Yeah, we support a lot of different import library types, so it's pretty routine. You can export your library from Zotero and then just essentially drag the exported file into Mendeley and go from there.
I also have a question more technical about someone who needs to update their details in Mendeley, and how can one, just change maybe their title?
So let me share my screen again quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're in the Mendeley Reference Manager, in the top right again, you've got settings and privacy. So you can click that and it'll take you to your account settings. And then from here, you can update your profile picture, email, names, status, discipline, password, and so on. So there's a lot of settings here that you have a lot of control over, especially like the notifications and the emails that you receive, any subscriptions that you may be paying for. the links that you may have created with your Scopus profile for the My Publications collections and so on. There's also the Privacy Center. So you can go to privacy.elsevier.com directly, or you can click on, it's not on there yet. You can click on, eventually you'll be able to click on the menu option in the new update. But for now, you can go to privacy.elsevier directly, and then from here you can control pretty much all of your settings across Elsevier. So what you're recommended, your email alerts, profile information, and so on.
It's a pretty routine question here. Does Mendeley work with Safari?
So if we're talking about the browser extension web importer tool, currently we don't support Safari, but we hope that will change very soon.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's see what we have here. What could go wrong when I try to get a PDF version of an article from Mendeley? I think that'd be a little difficult to answer without seeing the steps the person did.
Yeah, I would recommend, if you have an issue such as PDF saying error occurred, it's worthwhile contacting our support team. Our support is free, and you contact them via the Elsevier website. And they are specialized in helping you with issues such as importing PDF problems. They're best to help you with those kind of problems. So yeah, I'd highly recommend reaching out to the support team.
Okay. We have 5 more minutes. Is there any other burning question? If so, put it in the chat now.
Domitiana, can I just assist? Someone who came to my inbox and is asking how you can change the reference manager on Google Scholar to Mendeley. So first of all, you need to have like the Mendeley, the web version, the toolbar. So like under the settings on Google Scholar, in your Google Scholar account, you go on settings. So under the first tab, which is search results, the last tab is bibliographic manager. So by default, Google Scholar has got, Google Scholar is set on BibTeX. So you change from BibTeX to reference manager. So if you have got a Mendeley web importer downloaded on your Mendeley desktop, and you change to RefMan, the moment you try to export a citation from Google Scholar into your reference manager, Google Scholar will actually sense that you have got Mendeley on your computer. So that's how you change from BibTeX to Mendeley. I just wanted to answer that. Thank you.
I just saw a good question. Maybe you, basically when people have problems, how do they get to the help desk? I think that's several people have asked that, and that should be useful.
Within Mendeley site, there is a link within the 3-dot menu shown before where it says get support, and this will take you directly to the support help desk. And for the reference manager, there is the same thing. You can see, yeah, Iri is showing now, as you can see, there's a link in the top right, get support, that'll take you directly to the support center for Mendeley. This also contains FAQ information and other things that you can help to try and figure out your issues yourself, but then you can also contact via email or chat directly. And this goes directly to our support team. We'll then help you with any queries you may have.
Okay, we got one last question. I guess we have time for one more. Can I set the citation style to the format of a particular journal, e.g. +1, PLOSONE?
Yeah, you can. You can choose the citation styles from the menu that we demoed in the we showed in the demo earlier. You can also import custom ones if you wish to do that too. So yeah, that is possible.
And I also see, is there a difference between Linux and Windows when it comes to using Mendeley?
No. So Windows, Linux, and Mac, when we release the updates, they go out to all three platforms at the same time. So there's no key differences between the operating systems.
All right, I'm gonna treat this as the last question. I don't know if you guys see it in the chat. On the coming soon features, is there a possibility of Mendeley to make provisions to check on plagiarism?
This is something that we've had requested a few times, and it's something we're considering on our future roadmap. It's really useful to get feedback like this from users to say that they are looking for a plagiarism checker. That helps us to inform that we should consider doing this in future, but at current we haven't decided if we're going to do it or not, but it's definitely something that we're thinking about.
That's great. Very last, because this is an easy one, do we still have Mendeley Mobile? I think not, right?
No, so we've shifted away from Mendeley Mobile to refocus all of our efforts on the reference manager, as what the majority of our users said they found the most useful in terms of productivity tool. We are experimenting with how we can make the web version a little more mobile friendly. So yeah, that's something that's on our roadmap.
Thank you so much. So we are at the top of the hour. Lenny, if that's also okay with you, I think we're gonna close here. And as I said, again, thank you everyone. We're gonna have the recording up on our website, I hope by tomorrow. And we're also gonna tell everyone by email, we're gonna send you a link so you can find it again. And again, thank you so much. Marijn and Ilirjan, this is really, really wonderful for me as well. I really learned a lot. Thank you for being here, and thank you to everyone, and have a good rest of your day.
Yes, and we are we're definitely pleased to see the level of participation, because we know how difficult it can be to get internet access and be able to hear correctly what is being presented. So we appreciate your energy and enthusiasm. And again, the material will be available very soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
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 Bye.
Thank you. Bye.